Good morning. It's Monday, the 27th of November, first full trading day following the Thanksgiving holiday. Spent a lot of time trying to get settings on the stream figured out, so it's, I guess, kind of a test flight there. Was testing out something on the execution system last night at open. Unfortunately, managed to take a stop, so I hate to start the day in the hole, but that's what we have here. I was testing out if, with that panel hidden, giving a little more screen space, it would execute, and it definitely does. So what I have here is both set up for the multi-brackets, which is here. I have a 12-point or 3-point stop, 3-point target, and a 24-point tick target. And so I will keep that off. Gives a little more room there and makes it a little more screen space. And hopefully all things else are working okay. Had some drama on Saturday with improper settings that I had was trying out, and it was a mess of getting a big yellow banner. The stream was no good, and so it seems like everything's under control. We had a couple of numbers out this morning. Building permits, a new house starts at 7:30. Not much of a reaction there. Overnight trade was kind of rotational. We look at the IRT chart here. We can see that the IRT, this is where I got that stop. I wanted to just get try it out for the mechanics, take a small profit to cover the commission, and of course it went immediately up there, took the stop, and then cratered, as I had been thinking. So it's just stupid on my part, but there you are. So this is the micro composite. Couple of dojis going into the holiday, which is pretty normal. We're right at the right up here looking at the highs from the micro composites of days gone by. We've got a whole bunch of gap days here. One would expect that the market goes up to go down and goes down to go up, as Tom would say. Tom B from Traders Lab on the Discord bookmap, Discord chat Traders Lab. I heartily recommend that. You don't have to be a member of, you don't have to be a subscriber to Bookmap. He's got a lot of good insights, and it's a good crowd of people over there. Hopefully some will wander in to here. So settle. These levels are pushed at the open. I'll switch this to the regular trading hours. We've got 3 minutes till the open. These are the levels being pushed from Bookmap. These are the statistics from the opening type, which is lower in range. So essentially, with this opening type, we have an 84%, 0.3% chance that we will take out or touch the overnight point of control, volume point of control, which is right here. 82% of the mid, 69% for the low, and so on. Those stats are derived from a IRT study. So let's see what happens here. Hopefully all is good stream-wise. I can't really monitor it for some reason. There's the delay in monitoring the stream audio trips me up. I get that delay. I don't like listening to that delay. breaks my trend. Everything seems to be okay here. 30,000 kbps. CPU's 0.2%. That's pretty much nothing. And we're broadcasting at 1080p 60 FPS. Was at 4K, but I brought things down, and that seems to help. I'll mess with it going forward. So I suppose I can roll back to here's that trade. And it's pretty hard to see scrunched up like that. There was the entry right at the bottom. These were the targets, the stops. It turned straight around without any positive whatever you call that, deviation, I guess. And for the stop, took just a couple of, maybe a 1.5 higher, and then plummeted straight down past my scale and almost to my first stop, my first target. So that's pretty, stupid on my part. I never trade overnight, especially on the open. And here we go. We're off and running now. We've got an open. Market is open. Change my IRT stuff to the regular trading hours. Very simple to do. And so we're looking at an opening drive at the moment here. I'm going to be extremely careful about this. We've got settle, we've got ETH high, very small possibility according to the overnight stir, the statistical study, but we have a migrating VPOC. So there's that overnight, or the and where did the mid go? Mid is on okay, POC is okay, everybody seems to be tracking. The NQ was flying. This is the correlated market with the NQ. They both came flying up to the previous value area low. And I'll be right back. back. Hopefully all this is going as advertised. Well, no real structural trade there other than a possibility of mean reversion, which is high-low. So far, that's what we've done. But, fairly light volume early on, first day after a holiday. I'm already in the whole one stop. Last night's stupidity. Not stupidity, but I should have thought it out better before. I just wanted to see if that would work, and I didn't. I wasn't on my game thinking. I didn't have my thinking cap on. Let's put it that way. IB high, IB low so far. We're looking at about less than 10-point range. Just some background. This is the chart volume profile, which just shows the volume profile of the data on the chart. This is the session volume profile. This is the regular trading hour session at this point. And this is the full session from last night at 1700 Central. And we're now banging around the NQ is looking testing lower, testing the bottom. Same way with the ES. I will have to check my calendar. I may have a prior commitment at the top of this hour. But the primary concern for me today was verify that the all things are running on the stream, because I spent quite a bit of time tweaking settings and Googling how to do it and a bunch of stuff over the weekend. So, well, we have initial. That would have been a heck of a short, 57 to 10 points at this point. Anybody caught that? I didn't really see any structured trade for that, but I'm sure there probably was one that I missed. Here's our open, swing high, didn't take it out. Right on the POC. I guess you could have said this was a test and down, but you can say a lot of stuff in hindsight. It doesn't seem to always work out. We have the VPOC, VWAP, and mid all up above us. This darker colored POC is the overnight. And I think they're both on. Here's the current session POC. So there's a little disparity there at this moment. Again, this is from the full session. And this is from the regular trading hour session. So you can see where they are. Or there and there. And what are we going to do? Nothing really to write home about yet. I'm going to be extremely cautious and probably wait for the IB30. There's a statistic, very high statistic, that says either the IB low or the IB high, which is above us and covered up here somewhere, up in here, will be taken out. The overnight will be taken out in the regular trading hours. Okay, that is the high, and the IB high and the IB low is the first hour's high and low. That's all it is. It's just the first hour swing. There's a stat from the Traders Lab that's called the IB30, and someone pulled that together and said, well, there's also a very high probability that the existing IB high or low will be increased or decreased, depending, within the second 30 minutes. So in other words, the 30-minute high or low is taken out in that second 30 minutes before. Trying to kind of narrow down that statistic. So that's probably what I will be looking at this point. Targets, we could very definitely just rotate. And I just got confirmation that meeting will be at the top of the hour. Now we have the current session, VPOC migrating lower, passing over the mid and the VWAP and the previous full session VPOC. So that would suggest that we are going to have some lower trade. But in this kind of an action day and lighter volume, only 254,000 contracts so far, I will not take that trade. And I probably should have. That's looking for new lows, right? And that's kind of a dicey. I don't see much of a high probability there because you're at the bottom of the trade. You're taking out the IB low for that trade to work. In this case, it's a high possibility that they could come back up and do a price check at L3, which is take it all the way across. Or at minimum, test out the VWAP mid, and you've got the full session VPOC. Now the 2 points of control, volume points of control for full session and current session are now aligned at the same point on top of each other, however you want word you want to use there. The full session VPOC is now the same as the current session VPOC. So I think that might be a time for a short. Because they have both pulled back. When this moved down and it tested up to this micro composite high, and liquidity was the short opportunity. Now it's still not at the scale, however. The scale for risk neutral is 3 points. That's the first target. That means that you are then risk neutral, and the worst that can happen is a scratch. That's fantastic. Improvement for your psychological state, or mine anyway. That was a good first move out of the gate, and now let's see. There could be a lot of back and forth, including some profit taking on this big short, and up to a price squeeze. A price check. Sorry. And we'll put in and start marking out these movement. Bookmap doesn't track this. IRT does. I will show that here in a moment. There we go. Okay, I use these migrating VPOC to know where we're going here. Okay, the IRT does it for me. The yellow is the migrating VPOC or developing, and the red is the current VPOC. So it's real easy to see where these are here. You can also see that over on the book map, but I mean, obviously you can see the yellow developing VPOC, but you have to keep scrolling, winding it back in order to see the context of it and how it's moving over the time. Bookmap is, you can get drilled into where you're looking at microseconds, and so you lose track of what's to the left. One of the advice is look left. Very definitely look left. It's disappointing that I've got that meeting the top of the hour, but it's part of the commitments of my life. So there you are. And we're at the 45. Now, I will not be able to stream or trade this for the IB30 or the IB because this 9 o'clock commitment will run for at least an hour, unfortunately, but it is what it is. One of those responsibilities that contributes to the paying the bills. So it seems like everything's working quite well here. Doesn't look to me like the white space. It looks like the white space is remaining in the market profile chart, or the TPO. And to be honest with you, I don't remember how to get rid of it. I know how to get rid of white space on the regular charts, but they're different here. Over here, you would just type a letter, which brings up the. I'm not sure if I'm on that. Yeah, type a letter, which brings up the or a number, which brings up the periodicity chart, and you can see this is Renko, so it says fresh start. If you put this on time, it will say white space for trading periods. And you untick that. If you leave that on, you get a big white space for the scrubbed holidays. So there we go. I'm not sure what you do on TPO, and I'm not going to Google it or go to Linsoft to check it out at this point. All right. So that VPOC migration down would have been a frustrating disaster. Did not make a scale. And now it's just going to rotate, consolidate, and rotate around this micro composite VPOC, right here. Boom, 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 boom. And build the volume at the new VPOC. Of course, the second I say that, it bottom falls out and it'll take out the IBI or low. Anyway. See how the Be Right Back music is working. Maybe a little loud. I don't know. I'll have to check when I revisit the stream. And there we go. Probably need to put some sort of a fade on that thing so the music dies off rather than just drops. I'll have to monitor, review the stream later tonight or whatever and think about that. The purpose of this stream and the purpose of the stream is my video journal. I find it so helpful to be able to review the stream and hear my thoughts at the time I've taken trades. And sometimes you go, what were you thinking? It's amazing how different your perspective can be. It's just like a similar example is the rearview mirror. You look back at this trade, you go, oh yeah, well, there was a short there. It was under the, it's a structured trade, VPOC migration, whatever. Whichever one of the trades that you've collected the statistically significant data for and have vetted so that you've got a verified edge. It's amazing how that can happen. And I've been doing this a while, so it's, it's not like I just started doing it yesterday. Still, it continues. Same thing with the FOMO and all those lizard brain responses. You can't act on them, or you certainly need to be aware of them, conscious of them, and try not to act on them. But they still remain. They'll never go away. You just have to learn how to deal with it. The goal is to become unconsciously competent, where you just intuitively read the market and take the trades. Once you have a vetted trade, then every time that trade scenario triggers and presents itself and triggers, you take the trade. The idea being the statistical probability of your edge the more instances of that trade you have, the greater the opportunity for your edge to manifest itself in terms of profits, the casino theory. Casinos are gaming. They know exactly what the edge is, and they play the game exactly the same way every time. The gamblers sit on the other side of the table, and they don't have a clue. They gamble. Sometimes they win, sometimes they lose. I think more times they lose than they win, but don't know that's to be the case. I would say so, judging from the extravagant casinos and comping cocktails and food and shows and whatever else they do to bring people in. The idea is that more people they get there, the more instances of that game or that statistic they have, and the edge manifests itself, and the results are obvious. So 2 minutes now, I will start winding the stream up, unfortunately. Don't think I'll have a trade today. I would like to get that stop last night off the books. That's been journaled as an error. I am not, should have put it on a sim instead of live. I never think about that. And I also had an opportunity to just shut that off at $25, and I didn't do it. Wanted to make sure that commission was covered, which is, that was a bright idea, and ended up taking a full stop at 325 or 12 points on 2 lots. 12 ticks on 2 lots, so that's didn't work out like I had a plan. Spontaneous, impulsive trading. I just wanted to check that out, and I should have done it in replay over the weekend, which was my intention, but I forgot about it, frankly, until I was here at the Open last night. Anyway, here we are at returning to mid. Get the mid's down in there somewhere. And no, I'm sorry, mid's up here. And then VPOC. And VWAP above. Now, there's a VWAP or mid VPOC setup, structural trade, but I have to be absolutely sure that my range is sufficient for the scale. Here, what have you got? It's 59 to 58 and a half. So there's no possibility for a scale there for the scale for risk neutral. See if I can get this other world going over here. Irritating. And there was a VWAP, VPOC, but again, no range, right? And if you wanted to be real precise, you could say that was a mean reversion trade from down here to up here, and then where are we going to go with it? But again, you're only talking about 4 points around the whole thing, so there's not enough range to do it, I don't believe. And I am going to now, not yet, remind me later, there we go. I'm going to now close the stream off. Best of luck to anyone hearing this. And I will pick it back up. Perhaps I'll restart the stream after the meetings, and the market action looks like I'm going to be trading, I'll do that. I try to never take any trades off stream. So we'll see. Hopefully I've got everything working right. I'm real anxious to check it out and see what it is. Best of luck all.